Welcome to the Pinch to Zoom podcast. I'm Stetson.
And I'm Gabe.
In this episode, we are recapping, it's a bonus episode, we're recapping the hashtag Samsung Note 10 event. Gabe, is that really what they called this thing?
I'm not really sure what they called it, but it is the Note 10 event. It is a bonus episode. It is special. We are on hype level 10. Oh, wow. Because it's the Note 10 event, too.
Exactly. I get it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Gabe, what's the first thing we saw at this event?
First, an appropriate thing to put in right now, because that was kind of what Apple did, was right when the Samsung event was starting, Apple sent out its first invites to the Apple Card. So that was, totally not by coincidence, I'm betting.
Immediately getting sidetracked. And Gabe, is this something you signed up for?
I did sign up for, actually, even though in the past episodes I was like, kind of on the fence. I realized that I was one of the few people who actually got an invite because I went to Apple's, landing page, put in my email address a while ago. So I got an invite and I was like, what the heck? It's so easy. Honestly, you go into your wallet app, you click sign up for app, add a new card, and then it's add Apple Card, sign up. It was under a minute, kind of a little scary how painless it was. And then you just select send me my card, and your card's in the mail, and you're good to go.
I love it. Just like Apple wanted, we got immediately sidetracked into their product. Gabe,
this is a Samsung bonus episode, and we're just talking about Apple already. What is going on?
That's brilliant marketing right there. All right, so let's dive in to the episode. We have the Note 10. What happened today? What did we see come out?
So first thing we saw come out was RIP headphone jack. It's kind of surprising because this is the bigger phone. And I think, doesn't your S10 have a headphone jack?
Yeah, I'm holding my S10 here. It has the headphone jack. I'm very surprised Samsung decided to remove that from their Pro device, right? The Note 10, usually for Pro users, it's got the bigger battery, the better specs, the S Pen, and they just...
It's a bit odd, but I would say that it kind of makes sense because they already have to put a hole and a long, cylinder in there so you can slot the S Pen into there. So maybe they're we don't want to have to put two of those in there because people might confuse them and plug their headphones into their S. I don't know. I don't really know the thought process that went on behind there at Samsung, but whatever it was, they finally said, all right, people, we're going to force you to probably buy our Galaxy Buds or maybe our wireless headphones we're coming out with in the future. And they killed off the headphone jack, as well as the option to add a micro SD storage on the Note 10. The Note 10 Plus, the larger one, still has that. So yeah, if you're, the more Pro users that get the larger phone, pay a little extra money, you also get the ability to add some more storage. But what other features are we looking at, Stetson, with this new phone?
Yeah, So with the hardware of the S10, I think that's a pretty good way to start. The Note 10, I'm holding the S10 here in front of me for reference. What they did is Samsung, first of all, as we predicted, they took that little hole punch camera cutout, moved it right into the center of the display. I think it looks pretty nice. It's a nice symmetrical design when you look at it. The Note 10 has more squared off corners when compared to the Galaxy S10. It's a little boxier. And the camera setup on the back, Samsung is rocking the triple camera setup, the wide angle, the regular, and the telephoto, but it's in a vertical arrangement, very similar and reminiscent to the iPhone. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's somewhat strategic on Samsung's point. Along with the naming scheme, right? As Gabe mentioned, we had the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus. Very similar naming scheme when compared with iPhone and the iPhone Plus. But I guess Apple switched to the Max.
It's the Max now, yeah. So they're copying Apple 3 years ago a bit, I guess. And I was going to say about the camera arrangement, your S10, that has a horizontal camera arrangement. Yeah, so
yeah, that's correct.
They're
horizontal.
Switching it up. Mainly because I think they tried to make this phone a little narrower, was one of the big things they were touting. It's a lot narrower and also thinner. It's only 8 millimeters thick. And then it has that, huge, wide, more cinematic style phone screen, which is great for, recording video, watching movies. And speaking of video, they added some really good video capabilities with this phone. Most notably, the ability to edit on the phone, which I know Apple added this with their latest update coming up, iOS 13. Are we on? Is that what's coming up?
Yep, that's iOS 13. Yep, we can count.
So yeah, Samsung was like, all right, I think we're gonna have to step it up with the Note 10, and they added the ability to really edit, and hopefully we'll see how full-fledged it is once people get their hands on the phone. But the ability to edit video on the phone is great, since now this phone can shoot very good quality video.
Gabe, how do you feel about editing on a phone? Like, is this a feature you're excited about, or is it just better to plug it into a fully fledged computer?
Well, usually I have in the past been really against it, but the couple times that I've been able to find apps that actually do a good job, I think the last one I found was Splice on the iPhone does a decent job. For a while before that, it was Filmmaker Pro that was pretty decent at video editing. And when you can get an app that actually allows you to do everything, and you don't run into the frustrating thing of like, oh, okay, now I need to rotate the video 180 degrees, and I cannot do that. And then you have to like, all the work you've done of editing it, now you just have to export it all to your computer, edit it on your computer, and then do it. And it's like, why even bother anymore in the future if you're going to have issues like that? So it's really about having an editing software that, while being simple and intuitive, also has enough of the features to keep the more pro users really on the phone and not having to export them to their Final Cut, Adobe, or whatever they're editing in.
Yeah, I think Adobe Rush is another pretty good mobile editing tool. So it'll be interesting to see how that software experience is like. Definitely a plus for creatives who are posting on social media. One thing I do want to talk about with the cameras is Samsung previously with the Galaxy S9 and S10, they had the dual aperture main camera lens where you could actually change the aperture from, I think, an f1.2 to an f2 or f2.4. Does the Note 10 keep this feature?
I think it does, right? It has a 12 megapixel dual aperture lens, I'm reading.
Really?
Are you? Yeah.
I was not seeing that. That didn't seem like a feature that was highlighted to me on Samsung's website.
I'm on CNET right now reading it. So
I guess they do have
on
it.
CNET, according to CNET, now yell at them if we're wrong, but they're saying it has a 12 megapixel dual aperture lens, 16 megapixel wide angle lens, 12 megapixel telephoto lens, and then a 10 megapixel front facing camera, which I'm pretty sure those are identical specs to what the S10 has, right?
I think you're right. They would be identical, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's honestly not a big bump up as far as quality of cameras, but they did some cool stuff with the technology and the software side. One of the big things is you get night mode, you get portrait video, which I know everyone loves portrait mode on their cameras. The iPhone, Pixel does it. Everyone does it a little differently, but it always produces great results with amazing bokeh. And now you can do it in video, which I'm definitely a little skeptical about how crappy that's gonna look. If they can do it well, yeah, that could be a really awesome thing.
I think it'll be a little bit more gimmicky than not. That's something I definitely feel is true with Samsung software features. Hardware is top notch. Like, this phone is packing, but sometimes the software gimmicks Samsung adds are less functional and more for fun advertising opportunities.
Yeah. Speaking of gimmicks, you walked right into the AR doodling. That is where I would put that feature. I know they demoed it on the stage, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. You can be taking a picture of your friends, and you can, it will sense their face, and you can give them a little crown or put their name over them, and it will stay attached to them. And if they walk out of frame and walk back in, it'll pop back up. Yeah, that's really kind of cool looking, and ooh, wow, they'll use that. No, probably never. But you'll probably use it the first week you have the phone, and then forget about it for the rest of the time.
That's honestly what happens, I think, with a lot of features for my phones. I know I use it for email and texting, and I use the fun new features for a week, and then it's kind of back to the old usual features that I just know how to use. All right, so
what I will say about the AR mode and the the portrait video is that the Note 10 Plus does actually have a 3D depth sensing camera on the back, which is interesting because that could help, especially that portrait video mode. That could help that be a lot more accurate and could make it so it's really not as gimmicky and not as oh, it kind of only works in this certain light or like this certain situation, and really make it a lot more reliable.
They had a really good low light demonstration of this at a concert on their website. So it could be possible that it's quite good. Gabe, you mentioned an IR blaster on the Note 10 Plus. Is that something that's going to be on the Note 10?
I'm pretty sure it isn't, right? On the back, it's only on the Plus. You get that 3 camera array on both of them, but then only the Plus gets that, and the Plus 5G also has that addition of the 3D IR sensor or whatever it is.
Yeah, this definitely felt like a weird announcement to me. One thing I love Google for, and I love their Pixel line of phones, is the regular Pixel is identical to the Pixel XL, except for the display size and the battery. And here with the Samsung Note 10, it really feels like Samsung was releasing basically 2 different phones, where you had the Note 10, which is really like it's like an S10 with a pen, and then the Note 10 Plus, that was the real pro phone, where we had up to 12 gigs of RAM. You had up to 512 gigs of internal storage. You had the higher resolution display. And all of those features were lacking on the regular Note 10.
Yeah, you think it's almost like Note 10 Lite and then your regular Note 10.
I like that. Yeah, it's like a different way it's different marketing.
But obviously it's more enticing to say, hey, you people are buying the regular Note 10, you people are buying the Plus Note 10, rather than calling the regular Note 10 the Lite version. Like, no one wants to buy that, it's really.
Better marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing I want to talk on is Bixby, right? This is
Bixby. Yeah, why don't we ask? Hey, Bixby, what's new with the Note 10? Push the button. Bixby.
Radio
Bixby.
silence.
Hello, Bixby. Where'd you go? Yeah, Bixby is gone. At least the button is, right? I don't know is Bixby still on the phone?
Well, Bixby is actually, in a way, almost more in the phone than ever before, because Bixby's built into the button you push every day.
Yeah. The home button or the lock button?
The power button. Gabe, it's
at least
an Android device.
At least it's not a dedicated button, though, for Bixby.
It's the power button. That's the Bixby button.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better?
I don't even know. No.
I think it's worse. Basically, instead of giving me an extra button that I can remap to the camera, to Google Home.
But also, yeah, I mean, now I guess they did give the remap ability, but I still think that it's just, why have that extra button? No one wants Bixby. Everyone just wants either Google or nothing, I guess. I'm not really sure. Alexa, maybe. Oh, good. I didn't trigger my devices in my room.
Oh my gosh. But I guess that's a good way of thinking about it. And thinking about it more, that is kind of how the iPhone works, right? Where you hold the power button to get your assistant, and now Samsung is adopting that similar strategy where you do just hold on the power button to bring up the assistant. So I guess that makes sense. But yeah.
Well, I would say I think the next biggest thing that people care about with the new phone is the colors, right?
Yeah, that's always a huge highlight. That always gets me. I debate, what color do I get?
So, well, I think this one is like a clear, this is the one that people get, and that's the Aura Glow.
Gabe, yes. What is so special about the Aura Glow? Can
Aura Glow basically it's like mother of pearl color, like that kind of color that is all colors, rainbow, shiny, like a pearl. Where it's like from this angle, has a holographic almost look to it. I think, is that how you describe it?
I think it's like if you took the essence of a rainbow and how it's dependent on the reflection of water mist.
But it's not rainbow colors at the same point.
It's like an infusion of colors that are bright and vibrant, and as light hits the phone at different angles, it reflects these different colors.
Yeah, so that's going to be by far the most popular color, and that's available, I think, with all the phones, right? With all the different models.
My understanding is that is available with everything.
Yeah, and then the other 2 colors that you'll get with all the other, the Note 10, Note 10 Plus, and Note 10 Plus 5G is the Aura Black and the Aura White. I'm not sure why they are doing Aura in front of everything. I guess that's just kind of like the look of them. They're kind of all a bit, shiny, kind of like not really their colors. So I guess that's why they put Aura in front of all the different colors. But I mean, it seems like they could just call them, black, white, red, blue, pink, or whatever they want to call them.
What color will you be picking up, Gabe?
I don't think I'm picking up any of them, Stetson. Don't just start, yes-anding me and like making me think that I am going to be getting one, because I probably won't get one. If I were to get one, I probably would get the Aura Glow. It does look pretty awesome. Or the Aura Black also looks, the nice black look always looks good on a phone.
Absolutely.
What about you?
I think I would probably go. I really liked the white for the Samsung Galaxy S10, so I may consider doing that. Or I'd spice it up and go for black. But honestly, what I find, and this is an interesting way to think about purchasing phones, is I get the one that will become most associated with that device. So when I'm creating a thumbnail, boom, people see it, they recognize it, and hopefully it's more attractive.
I think the Aura Glow is the one that so far it looks like people are really loving. I know Marquez was tweeting about it and a couple other tech YouTubers. The other big feature, sorry, we haven't touched on this. I know the Note 10 is the one with the S Pen, and it's the one that I like when I'm rhyming. If you see it again, anyways. The S Pen now has a little extra trick up its sleeve in that you can actually do some gesture controls with it. It kind of has a gyroscope and a accelerometer built into it, so if you want to swipe this way or swipe that way, you can switch camera modes. I'm not sure quite what else you can do with it. I'm not sure if Samsung is really either. It definitely seems very gimmicky, but I know a lot of people did like the ability to click the pen to take a picture, so maybe this is some way that we're getting closer to the future where you can kind of control your phone with your thoughts, and this is just like one step away from that, where it's gestures instead of touching.
I just want to comment to the audience that Gabe is currently waving his hand around in the air while talking about the S Pen gestures, as if he is performing the gestures himself, conducting a band, an orchestra. So these gestures are mainly in the camera mode. You can switch from the rear-facing to the front-facing camera, switch camera modes, swipe between photos when you're viewing them, and do a few more things. And, while we're on the topic of photos and videos, Samsung did announce a new audio feature. So when you're zooming in on a video, the audio becomes more condensed and focused on that specific point in the video.
Yeah, kind of like how you can tap to focus. You can actually tap to audio focus, and it will pick up the audio from that area of your frame, which is very cool. I think that's fairly easy for them to do. It just involves, being able to train the mics to, pick up sound from different, if they have, I think most of these have at least 2 or 3 mics. So, it's being able to triangulate the sound where it is and then, slightly adjust, the direction and the biases of the mics. So, yeah, that seems like a really good feature. And we'll probably honestly see that copied to the iPhone, but maybe also not, because they might just have that intelligently do that automatically.
Yeah, it seems that could be hit or miss. I think could potentially be gimmicky. Not sure exactly how well it's going to work. It may be good for vloggers or creators where they're talking to the camera, maybe, or they zoom in on someone who's talking.
I imagine it would grab, if it grabs face focus. I imagine that's where it would grab the audio from, but I don't know how it works. We'll have to see.
Yeah, well, that's something I think we'll wait for reviewers to check out.
But what was the big marriage we saw today? It was a wedding that was unplanned, right?
It was unplanned, unconventional. No one expected it.
Would you call this the team up of 2019 so far in the tech world?
I think absolutely. And it is, of course, between, you didn't expect it, but we have Samsung and Microsoft coming together. Gabe, what brought this couple together for this marriage?
Honestly, it was probably the necessity of, Apple just being so dominating in the market, and also possibly Google a little bit also being pretty dominating. And, I think both Samsung and Microsoft see that they're kind of companies that Microsoft really doesn't do much of their own hardware. They're a lot more software focused, and Samsung doesn't do much of their own software. They're very hardware focused, so they thought, hey, there's Google out there making a lot of software, but also a little bit of their own hardware. Apple's making all their own stuff, so they're like, hey, we both have like half the pie here. Why don't we come together and make a baby together, a little bit here. And I think this is a great mixing for the Note 10, especially because this is supposed to be a phone for productivity, for the pro user, for the business type. And Windows, especially their Microsoft Office suite and their email and stuff, is really well known for that. So I think this was a good move by both of them.
Yeah, and do you, what were they bringing together? So it looks like to me it was really for DeX, like really taking DeX to the next level.
Well, DeX is one thing, but you also now get handoff, which is something that really we never thought we'd kind of see on anything other than an Apple phone, because it's like Apple makes laptops and phones, so obviously those devices worked out well together.
Yeah,
now you have handoff to your Windows 10 laptop with Link to Windows, and you can just easily get your Samsung messages, notifications, recent photos, and more right onto your laptop screen. So yeah, huge for people who are laptop users and are Microsoft users especially, because now, there's an automatic pairing right there.
Are there laptop users that are not Apple and not Microsoft? This should work on a lot of machines, right?
Yeah, there are other things. You could be running Ubuntu or Linux, I know. So there are other things out there, but and also that is an issue that they're constantly. I know a friend who runs Linux, and he always is trying to figure out how do I get my messages to somehow work with because he loves iMessage, but he's also doesn't really love Apple that much, and so he has an Android phone, wants to run Linux, and it's like, how do I get this to work at all together, and it's sometimes there's workarounds, and then they'll close that back door, and then you have to figure out something else, and it's just a mess. So I'm glad that the two companies are coming together. I know one cool thing is that we also are going to see faster charging with these phones.
Oh my God, I saw that. This seems absolutely nuts, right? Where you can get, I think, a 45 watt charger to juice these things up.
Yeah. That's, for just reference for people, a MacBook Pro, which is one of Apple's high-end laptops, uses an 85 watt charger. And that's, a very huge battery, computer with a lot of cooling and stuff like that. 85 watts. So this is using over half of that for a phone, which is just incredible. I'm pretty sure that's even, I don't know. Do you know what your iPad Pro charges at?
I think that's a 30 or 35 watt.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure this could possibly be higher than the iPad Pro, which is just, for a phone that size, that's just incredible.
It is really astonishing. And that's something I love to see in addition to wireless charging. Something I just want to comment to the audience. So if you go to the Samsung website and you hit up the Note 10, they have a panel highlighting this amazing charging capability. And then there's a little asterisk at the bottom that says, quote, all-day battery only available on Galaxy Note 10 Plus LTE model. I thought that was funny. You don't get all-day battery with the other models?
Yikes. Yeah, that's kind of what you're used to, is that, you have to, well, I think is the LTE is the not 5G, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's just the Note 10 Plus.
Just the Note 10 Plus, yeah, that's what I would imagine, because that one has the 4,300 milliamp hour battery versus the 3,500 milliamp hour battery of the Note 10. And then also with the added 5G, that's going to suck up more juice for the cooling and that larger and higher end wireless chip. So that really does make sense. It's kind of unfortunate, but I think if you have that faster charger, you don't really need all day battery, because if you chuck on a charger for 15 minutes, you're already 30% more battery life easily.
Right, absolutely. I think that's basically all I have for the Note 10.
Well, what about pricing? Let's get pricing and availability. I know you can pre-order starting tomorrow, which would be August 8th at 12 a.m. I'm pretty sure.
Late night.
Yeah. And then they'll be shipping out on August 23rd. But what are the prices we're talking about, Stetson?
Yeah, so if I go to reserve now, maybe I can cheat this out a little bit.
If you're saying if I go to reserve now, you weren't already there. clicking on them and reserving it. The Note 10 I think starts at under $1,000.
So the Note 10 is under $1,000. We're talking $949. This includes 256 gigs of storage and 8 gigs of memory. And then if you want to bump up to the Plus, that's where we're looking at the over $1,000 for a smartphone, the $1,099.
I think that's the same as the iPhone XS Max, right? Or I think that's $1,049 maybe. I'm not sure. It's right around the same.
It's pretty similar. That might be the same. And I think this is a great opportunity to get my episode Swappa plug in. I just want to let the audience know for perspective. You can get a Galaxy S10, right? Basically, like the newest phone.
6-month-old phone, pretty much, yeah.
$600. Okay,
that's what is. But doesn't it start at only $800? I think.
It might start lower, but very comparable device. And if you're like, all right, I'll just get last year's Galaxy Note 9. That's going for around $420 to $500, gently used on Swappa.
Yeah, the good thing is, if you do want a Galaxy Note 9, this is the time to get them. Wait probably till August 23rd when they actually start shipping out, and then you'll see those prices crater because everyone knows, that the market is getting flooded with the newer devices, and it's perfect time to buy the older ones if that's what you want.
And you'll get your headphone jack. You'll still get very amazing performance, like. Yeah, literally
but that's
under half the price.
But I want the 5G version. How much am I going to have to shell out there?
Ooh, let's check that one out. So we're looking Note 10 plus 5G, $1,300.
Yeah, and I can get it on my AT&T plan. Yikes, that's going to jack it up.
Gabe.
What?
I've got some hard news for you, man. This is only going to be available exclusively on Verizon.
Whoa, okay, well...
Time to switch carriers.
Well, actually, I am on Verizon. I was kind of just setting that up just for that little thing there. Yeah, the little assist there, alley-oop, and slams it down. But yeah, only on Verizon. I'm pretty sure they're, with their, the S10 exclusivity, I'm pretty sure that was T-Mobile. Don't quote me on it, but I thought that's what they were doing there. So you see Samsung's kind of going to different carriers, see what each carrier is going to offer, They're the big, playa in the house here that everyone wants to date and that everyone wants to be around with, and all the carriers are just coming to them saying, help promote our 5G so that we can charge a ton more and not really offer people 5G because it only works in like certain areas of cities and really isn't very functional right now. But anyways, that's a whole other episode. So Note 10 snap reaction, what would it be?
I'm gonna go like soft maybe. I think the regular size Note 10, to me, doesn't seem significantly better than the Galaxy S10 that more recently came out. If you want the S Pen, yeah, absolutely.
That is just a tongue twister right there with the Galaxy Note 10 with the S Pen and your best friend. That's a good day. Never want it to end.
Gabe, your raps are on fire this episode.
It's more like spoken word a little bit.
We're going to have to give you like another award or something.
You can check me out. Yeah, the maybe the golden, I don't know.
The tongue-twisting rapper award.
Yeah, in the booth. Anyways, I think I was a little underwhelmed possibly, especially seeing the removal of the, the micro SD card slots, because I'm pretty sure the S10 has micro SD. So you're losing that with the regular Note 10. You're also gonna does it? He's looking at his phone right now.
I do have the expandable storage on this model, and it is a bummer to see both that and like with the S10, you get the expandable storage and you get your headphone jack.
Yeah, and the Note 10, they said nope, let's get rid of that. So that's a little kind of like a little question mark, type thing there. But the Note 10 Plus definitely is pretty impressive. And I think the video capabilities was something they definitely stressed. That was pretty much the first thing they talked about in their keynote. So that is going to be really the exciting stuff to see because, the S10 is an impressive video shooter. And then now with the ability to edit on it, because the Note 10 packs a little more RAM, a little more ability to cool. I think they actually said it has a specific way that it is able to cool while gaming. I can't quite remember it. I'm not big into mobile gaming, but yeah, they're definitely trying to make this phone for the pro user, whether it's gaming, whether it's taking pictures, whether it's working from your phone, whether it's video, whatever you're doing. The Note 10 Plus is probably the way to go, and the 5G version is like just if you gotta be the one to one up everyone. I'm surprised they didn't release that in an exclusive color so that people could signify that they got that version.
Yeah, it's actually only available in black.
Well, it's actually only the basic colors, right?
I'm on the website.
Have white, black, and Aura Glow.
So if I go to the Note 10 Plus 5G, I can only select. Oh, excuse me, that was for the 512 gig model.
Yeah,
I was going all out, paying $1,400 for the phone.
Right, that's weird though. But with the 512 one, you only get one color option.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the fewer people are going to be ordering that, so Samsung wants to make their manufacturing process.
But I would have expected some really unique color to be so if you whip it out, people are like, oh my god, is that the 5G? Something like that. But I guess they figure they're not too into stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see how it sells. I expect this will be a pretty formidable lineup to go against the new iPhone coming out in the fall, because they're not expected to have too much major updates. Most of the new cool stuff is coming with iOS 13. So, yeah. And what else did we see at this event, Stetson? Because even though it was the Note 10, we did see a couple other things come out.
Well, I'm an Apple Watch wearer, and Samsung, like I forecasted in the previous episode, decided to bring their activewear with the brand new Samsung Galaxy Watch.
Active 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite a mouthful there. The Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2. They had kind of soft launched it with a couple other people before the event, so it wasn't too much of a surprise, and we got most of the features. But it starts at around $300, and it does have LTE version. So like the Apple Watch now, you don't have to use it with your phone. You can be out there just with your watch and get texts, calls, whatever it is. And it comes in a 40 and 44 millimeter version, so also like the Apple Watch. So pretty similar there. They did also bring back the crown or the outer dial that you can actually turn. But it's instead of being an actually physically turning dial, like the watch face, not the watch face, but what it is, the outer dial, I guess, of the watch. You can turn it, but instead of actually physically turning it to control the watch, it's just haptic feedback and a digital thing. So
that is so weird. I cannot imagine.
A little weird. That. Yeah. They did also add ECG, so you can sense heart rate. However, the big catch there is it's not actually cleared with the FDA yet, so not medically
that's hilarious.
Approved really in any sense. But I'm assuming it will be very soon. And we'll see that September 13th. So that's going to be going up against the new Apple Watch 5s when they come out in the fall. And it's not great, but I do like that they're at least doing something different than the Apple Watch. It's a round watch for those who haven't seen it yet. So, Apple has their square look. I personally do like the kind of round look with the digital watch. It's kind of cool, right?
I love it. Yeah, the round. So my first smartwatch was the Moto 360. I love the round look. Super fun, really nice, really, really nice. And I think for Android users, the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 could be a really good option, and definitely a unique style that I appreciate.
Yeah, so that was exciting to see. We already kind of knew it was coming out, but then saw it. The other thing that they launched, I'm pretty sure was a bit more of a surprise, was the Galaxy. Now, let me get this name right. The Galaxy Book S laptop.
What?
Yeah, and this was kind of with a little bit more of their, I think Microsoft and Samsung have been in the closet for a while, talking out their deal of whatever they're going to do here when they come out and make this big, presentation. And so I think with, Microsoft bringing their apps and their productivity suite kind of to the Note 10, one of the deals is that Samsung would release this laptop which runs Windows 10. So kind of makes sense, right?
I'm actually a little confused. Like, why would Samsung release a laptop running Windows 10?
Well, what I'm saying is Microsoft wants more laptops and devices running Windows 10, right?
Okay.
So with Microsoft being like, all right, you want to use our suite of services on your phone, okay, we'll do that for you if you make a laptop dedicated to our our software.
I like it. That makes sense. And, I think to Samsung's credit, they actually have really good hardware on some of their devices. Like, the design's pretty good. It's really nice specifications, good build quality. They've established themselves as a high-end manufacturer. They make these great devices. And I think, having a line of laptops, that could potentially compete more along the lines of Apple's MacBook, like we see with the Huawei MateBook, where they're similar design, similar aesthetic. Maybe Samsung, more premium devices or nicer build, good specs and performance, running Windows, and that could be like reasonably cool.
Yeah.
I could see that working out.
One of the unique things about this laptop, I know we always talk, we're huge about talking Windows laptops on this podcast. We constantly can never get us to stop, right?
I haven't stopped talking.
Yeah, but anyways, okay. So this laptop actually doesn't use Intel processor. It uses a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8CX, which for those who are unfamiliar with that and have no idea what I'm talking about, basically that's like the newest generation of the Qualcomm's the chips. Uses a nice 7 nanometer process. Basically, they can make those. Computers are all based on on-off switches. And making those on-off switches as small as possible. 7 nanometers, you can't even see that with the silicone printing. So this is the smallest ones to date for desktop computers. And yeah, there's huge gains out of it as far as like size, cooling, and just speed. So that'll be cool to see. It's the first device to come out other than Lenovo, which announced a prototype one back in the spring, I think. So yeah, this will be nice to see. It runs, like I said, Windows 10, 13.3-inch touch-to-screen, and comes with either 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage, expandable micro SD slot up to 1 terabyte, so thank you for putting that in at least. It has a Windows Hello fingerprint sensor and USB-C because, yeah, at least they're doing USB-C and making it somewhat, modern.
Wait, Gabe. I'm seeing this is starting at $999 this September.
Yeah, I was leaving that out a little bit. Okay, sorry.
Oh, but like this is borderline a better deal than the Note 10. Like you're getting a full-on laptop with basically the same specs, right? Like
it's pretty crazy that they're doing that. It is only 8 gigabytes of RAM though. So with the Note 10, you can get 12 gigabytes of RAM,
right? Because I like having
also the front camera on this. This is kind of hilarious. Only 720p HD on this laptop.
That's absolutely mind-boggling for me. I don't understand how laptops cannot get. I mean, we're talking to each other on FaceTime right now. And
I just want to put this in because 720p. All right, that's HD. Even 1080p. All right, full HD. But to do 1080p, you only, I'm pretty sure, need a 2.4 megapixel sensor. So that's how small it has to be. To do 4K, you only need, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's an 8 megapixel sensor.
It's either 8 or 12, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's only 8, or actually I'm pretty sure it's even 7 possibly, 7 point something.
Wow.
But whatever it is, they could do a 4K resolution sensor and still only, put something under 10 in there most likely. But I get it. You don't really take pictures with your laptop. It's mostly, low quality FaceTiming or video chatting. So, all right. But still, it just does not look good. At least put a full HD one in there.
Well, Gabe, something I'm seeing here, I'm on the Verge's website. Does this support LTE? It says other features, gigabit LTE.
Yeah, that is one thing that I just now also noticed that it supported. It's kind of cool. It's bringing together the connected world. I know we've been talking about a long time with if 5G gets to the point where it's really usable, that would be really nice to be able to have laptops and stuff like that you can just go out and use wherever you want and have a super fast internet connection.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a feature I see coming to pretty much all laptops. Like instead of having to hotspot your phone, boom, laptop built-in LTE. That seems to make a lot of sense to me. And this device, from the looks of it, like if I was to purchase one device from this event, I'm actually super into phones, so there's no way I would get this. I would definitely get the phone. But come on, like a full-on laptop for only $1,000, like I say only $1,000, that's pretty expensive. But in comparison to a phone, like I spend 8 hours a day every day on my laptop. I
don't know. I'm a little up in the air about this one. It does look pretty nice. We'll have to see how well it performs, because personally, if I was going to get a Windows laptop, I would probably steer more towards one of the Windows Surface, devices.
Yeah, those are good.
Made by Microsoft. They look really nice screen, pretty decent interface, and yeah, I would go towards that. But if you want a dedicated laptop that also has a touchscreen, this might be kind of to the Lenovo Yoga Book or one of those. This is a possible option. Not coming out till September though, so a little bit down the road.
Ooh, they're missing that back to school opportunity with this.
Yeah, I guess so. But oh well, maybe Microsoft said, "Hey, don't release this in the fall because we want to sell all of our Surface tablets to them."
Sure, I like it. So Gabe, did you have any other notes on the Samsung Galaxy Note event?
No, I mean basically we saw DJ Ko, the CEO of Samsung, out there again doing his thing. I just love his name. The fact that his first name is DJ, it's awesome, dude. He's, it definitely, they can't go away from having him. He's like their version of the Tim Cook, comes out in the beginning, the end, and does a very good job of setting it up. And then they have their own unique Samsung way of presenting the little demos and stuff like that. That's completely different from Apple. But I would actually, if you guys take a look at the the keynote event, the replay, they have it up online places. This area that they were presenting this was just incredible. They had screens that were like, it was main screen behind the stage, and then the screens on the side that they were projecting this presentation on for the different events and colors and ambience, just like enwrapped the whole theater, and it was incredible, simply incredible. So definitely take a look at that if you have the time, and if you're bored and just want some inspiration of like how to design a stage, that's a way to do it.
Wow, I wish I had the opportunity.
Completely unrelated to phones or any other really technology devices for consumers. Yeah.
I like it though. I'll have to check that out. That sounds pretty awesome. It sounds like the Unpacked event where it looked like the stage was basically an unfolding cardboard box. Like you were looking inside an unfolding cardboard box. Screen extends all around. Very immersive experience.
Yeah. And actually one thing, thinking about the failed Galaxy Fold, which are now relaunching in September, I was also thinking about then the failed Note 7. It's interesting to think where this line of notes has come from, There's not many other product lines out there that can say they had a whole generation fail and just not be released. And people have kind of forgotten about it now. And now we've gone on to Note 8, Note 9, and now Note 10. And people are like, oh, this is a competing mainstream device that a lot of people could be considering.
Wow, yeah, that is a very interesting story. Duly noted on Samsung's success here. That's, well played. Well played, well executed. They did the right thing and handled it to the best of their ability.
And you can still, on Swappa, you can still get Note 7s for fire starters, I know.
Yeah, we talked about that in another episode. Be sure to find that in the show notes.
Yep. So that's pretty much it, though. I think, overall Samsung events aren't as exciting as Apple events. They have never really had that hype. Apple is the originator of these keynotes.
No credit cards.
Yeah. No Tim Cooks, no really artfully shot stuff with
Craig Federighi.
Yeah, that guy doing the stuff, talking about all the chromy accents and the finishes and stuff like that. But overall, not as interesting to watch, but end result is we got some new products for the fall and the holiday season from Samsung. And yeah, we'll most likely have some more wrap-up events coming up in the fall, because we're really coming into the tech launch 3 months where every tech company tries to get their best offerings out for the holiday season. So if you aren't already subscribed, consider subscribing on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And that thunder is the sound of us being almost done, because it's summer and the thunderstorms are rolling in.
that's it. I think that's going to be the episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, share.
Yeah, I'm a bit out of breath. I talked a lot, so you wrap this up. I'm going to take a break.
All right, sounds good. Gabe sits back. No Coco Rita today, but that's okay. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Well, hold on. No, it's Vita Coco. Okay,
Vita Coco.
Don't mess up our one of two sponsors.
One sponsor.
Sponsor's name.
I'm gonna have to get a can and just put it next to me so I know how to pronounce the name properly. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Share this episode with a friend if you found it enjoyable and you learned something new about the Galaxy Note 10. You can find us on social media at Pinch to Zoom Pod and at Pinch to Zoom Podcast. And yeah, we look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
That was it?
That's it. Yep, that's the end. No shopping cart award.
Is that all your notes on the note?
Those are all. I mean, we blew through my notes in the first like 15 minutes.
My secret is I had no notes.
You're just on a website the whole time.